Welcome back. Today, we are diving into an explainer that's going to take your basic DIY battery project and completely transform it into a safe, fully engineered system. If you're looking for total energy independence, building a 24-volt, 200-amp-hour LiFePO4 battery is absolutely the way to go. Now, real quick, LiFePO, that stands for lithium iron phosphate. It's literally the gold standard for DIY off-grid power because the chemistry is just so incredibly stable. It's way less prone to the fiery thermal runaways you might see with older lithium-ion tech. But listen, let's be super clear right out of the gate. Snapping together powerful lithium cells is not like playing with building blocks. We aren't just assembling parts today, we're actively engineering a robust, highly protected off-grid power plant.
So here's our project blueprint. We're moving straight from theory to final integration. We'll look at the engineering safety gap, battery math and design, safe cell layout assembly, installing the BMS brain, fuses and power connections, and finally, testing and system integration. Let's get into it.
All right, Section 1, the engineering safety gap, and really why most tutorials out there just fail. There is a massive difference between just plugging random parts together and actively engineering against danger. You see, most basic guides out there, they just show you a cell arrangement and make these huge capacity claims, but they totally skip the actual engineering logic you need to stop catastrophic failures. We're talking about preventing dangerous thermal runaway from hidden torque faults. We're talking about avoiding tool-induced arc flashes. And if you don't know, an arc flash is basically a miniature lightning bolt that can literally melt solid steel in a fraction of a second. So this is all about building a system that anticipates and neutralizes those hazards before they ever happen. Which brings us to the absolute golden rule of battery building. Treat every exposed terminal as energized, period. These batteries hold substantial stored energy, and they're capable of extreme fault currents. So you have to prioritize safety above absolutely everything else. That means, right off the bat, taking off all jewelry, rings, watches, the whole shebang, and strictly using insulated tools before you even touch the battery. Why? Well, imagine a gold wedding ring accidentally brushing across two live terminals. It'll instantly short the circuit and literally turn into a red-hot branding iron right on your finger. You've got to respect the power you're handling here. Moving on to Section 2, Battery Math and Design. Let's crunch some numbers. 4.8. By configuring 8 3.2-volt, 200-amp-hour LiFePO4 cells in series, we lock in a massive 4.8 kilowatt-hours of stored energy. To put that into perspective for you, this isn't just some oversized backup phone charger. This is a massive reservoir of power. 4.8 kilowatt-hours is actually enough juice to run a standard, energy-efficient refrigerator for 2 solid days. Or you could power your entire communication and lighting setup for weeks without seeing a single ray of sunshine. Now, understanding the basic math here is a real game changer because it directly dictates your cable sizing, your system losses, and your actual runtime. Think of voltage like water pressure in a pipe and current as the physical size of that pipe. If we multiply our 24 volts of pressure by our 200 amp hours, boom, that gives us our total energy pool of 4,800 watt hours. Then, say we're pulling a heavy 1,000-watt inverter load. We divide that by 24 volts, and we know we need thick enough pipes, meaning our cables, to safely handle a 41.7 amp flow without getting hot. These aren't just boring formulas. They're the exact parameters keeping your system safe from overheating.
Okay, Section 3, Safe Cell Layout Assembly, specifically the 8S1P configuration.
So 8S1P simply means we have 8 cells connected in a series circuit to form one single parallel string. Connecting in series just means linking the positive terminal of one cell to the negative of the next, kind of like stacking standard batteries inside a flashlight to build up the total voltage. But to prevent any catastrophic errors here, you have to inspect and measure every single cell first. Actually, before you even pick up a tool, I want you to physically trace the current path with your finger right from the positive to the negative terminal across all 8 cells. After that, you install perfectly clean bus bars and verify your total pack voltage. By meticulously hand tracing that path, you completely prevent a disastrous reverse cell orientation. As you're putting this together, you've got to keep the major risk points top of mind. Like we mentioned earlier, dropping a metal wrench across terminals here will instantly melt the metal and cause severe burns. No joke. So never ever rush the bus bar installation. And you've got to pay attention to the micro details too. Something as small as a thin layer of invisible oxidation or even just a smudge of fingerprint oil on a terminal creates microelectrical resistance. And under heavy loads, that tiny bit of resistance turns into significant heat. So keep those surfaces perfectly clean and always verify the total voltage because one reverse cell can permanently wreck the entire pack. Let's jump to Section 4, installing the BMS brain and its protection logic. If the individual cells are the brawn of our battery system, then the battery management system, or the BMS, well, that's the central nervous system. It's constantly taking the temperature and checking the pulse of every single cell. It handles the whole shebang: overvoltage and undervoltage protection, temperature safety, and cell balancing. The BMS gives you absolutely critical system defense. But keep in mind, it's incredibly sensitive. Wiring its balance leads incorrectly is, for sure, the fastest way to permanently destroy its delicate monitoring circuits. To wire it up safely, you must follow the manufacturer's wiring diagram exactly. Seriously, plugging in that main wiring harness is the point of no return. You've got to treat this like a strict pre-flight checklist. Grab your multimeter and measure the voltage progression between every single lead point. What you're looking for is to confirm an incremental 3.2 volt increase at each step. If, say, step 4 shows 6.4 volts instead of the 12.8 volts you're expecting, stop immediately. Never guess on this. You must sequentially verify every single voltage sequence before you even think about plugging that balance connector into the BMS. All right, moving right along to Section 5, fuses and power connections, securing the output. I want you to ask yourself this. What actually happens if a cable faults and you don't have a main fuse installed? Imagine you get an unexpected inverter surge, or maybe a damaged cable housing is rubbing against a sharp metal edge. Just pause for a second and really think about the consequences of all that raw energy suddenly having nowhere safe to go. Well, the reality is pretty stark. A battery this powerful doesn't just politely stop pushing energy when a cable breaks. Oh no, it'll immediately dump all 4.8 kilowatt hours right into that short circuit. Without a properly sized primary fuse acting as a physical breakpoint, that shorted or undersized cable turns into a glowing red heating element in seconds. Basically, an unfused cable fault transforms your carefully crafted energy storage system into a severe, completely uncontrollable fire hazard. And that is exactly why your essential power connections absolutely have to follow a strict engineered framework. First, your main negative must be routed through the BMS. Why? Because the BMS is the ultimate gatekeeper. It can physically cut the ground connection to stop the flow of electricity if things go south. Second, your main fuse has to sit right up near the battery's positive terminal so it can catch any downstream shorts immediately. Oh, and you definitely need a dedicated disconnect switch. Routing our power this way doesn't just massively improve your baseline safety, it makes your long-term maintenance so much easier.
Which brings us to our final phase, Section 6, testing and system integration, powering up. Now, before we deploy this unit to power your off-grid life, we have to hit a few critical test targets. You need to validate the total and individual cell voltages and double-check that BMS operational logic. You're also going to want to use a clamp meter to validate the current flow. If you haven't used one before, a clamp meter is this brilliant tool that lets you measure the invisible flow of electricity just by clipping its jaws right around the outside of the wire. You don't even have to break the circuit. During your initial charge and those moderate load tests, you'll want to actively monitor the physical battery for warm connections. Remember, heat is an early warning sign of excessive electrical resistance, usually from a poorly torqued joint. Once your battery passes those tests, it is officially ready for the wild. But keep in mind, true long-term reliability is an ongoing process. DIY definitely doesn't mean build it and forget about it. Once your pack is integrated with your hybrid inverters and your MPPT charge controllers, which, by the way, are the devices that efficiently funnel all that raw sun power straight into your battery, you'll need to do some routine preventative maintenance. Stuff like periodically inspecting terminal tightness, checking on your cable health, and checking your BMS voltage balance data. Doing that will guarantee you get years of dependable off-grid service. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to really spark your imagination. How are you going to utilize your new 4.8 kilowatt hours of independent off-grid energy? Think about the backup power systems, the remote cabins, or the wild off-grid adventures you're going to empower with this. You didn't just snap some parts together today. You engineered a highly robust power plant. You've got the knowledge to build it right, and far more importantly, the true energy independence that comes along with it. Keep building, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the next explainer.